making routines. Routines. Wow. Okay. And that's the episode, everybody. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Girls That ADHD.
Hello.
Hi. In case you've forgotten, I'm Anushka.
And I'm Sayaka.
And we have ADHD. We're also practitioners.
Yeah.
And this podcast is hopefully your one-stop shop about all things to do with ADHD. It's a bit unhinged.
But we made it to season 2. So this is season 2 for those who are just tuning in.
And today we're going to be talking about the bane of everyone's existence. Routines. Is this where we the word routine comes up at the top?
Editing is, and then we'll figure out how complicated
we can make things. Yeah. Okay, so routines are really, really, excuse my French, fucking hard to do, especially when you are someone with ADHD. I don't know about you, but again, this is going to sound so silly, but I need routine.
Yes.
But I don't like structure.
Yes.
But I need things to be the same.
Yes.
And I don't like it when things change, but I need flexibility.
Yes.
But I can't have someone else change my stuff.
Yeah, I feel like only people with ADHD or autism would understand this.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. Correct. Because
well, that made complete sense to me. But as a sentence in English, that didn't make sense.
We're just a bag of contradictions.
Yeah. But also, I don't know if we feel like that because we may also be autistic.
Correct. We've had this discussion at least once a fortnight. Sayaka and I text and it's like, do I have autism also?
Yes.
And it's in those moments, you know, it's just small moments of rigidity that I'm like, or I'll flip my shit over the tiniest things.
Exactly.
Because I plan things out in my head and I'm like, it has to, and I won't communicate it to anybody.
Yes.
Just in my head, I'm like, it has to go like this.
And if it doesn't,
then my whole day is ruined. Yeah.
Your whole day is off.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. Or I'll have an appointment at 3 p.m. Don't make 3 p.m. appointments, but I do.
Yes.
And then my whole day is wasted.
Yes.
Or sometimes I'll have things in the morning and if a client cancels or something.
Yes.
You'd think I'd do something in that hour.
No, absolutely not.
I just sit there and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then when the time is finished, I'm like, oh, I could have done these things.
But you don't.
But you don't.
Because you're scared if you do something, you'll miss the next one.
Correct. And because I didn't mentally prepare, I need to be mentally prepared.
Yes, you need to be mentally prepared for breaks.
And everything. Just mentally prepared for life. My therapist said this to me the other day. She's like, you're a bit of a planner. And I was like, that could be trauma. Or the fact that I'm neurodivergent. I don't know which one it is.
It could be so many things. But hopefully this helps if you have ADHD.
And you struggle with routines.
Yes.
I think we've started to get it down pat for ourselves. I think I'm function week to week, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that is the standard for success for us. Just functional.
I get stuff done.
Sad. Yeah, but you know what? It took a while to get here, so celebrate it.
That's it.
Very good times, come on.
Celebrate. Anyway. So routines.
Yeah.
How do you manage your routine? What does your routine look like?
I have discovered flexible routines.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. What does that work? How does that work for you?
If you checked out the first episode, basically you will know that I plan out my months and then my weeks and then
your
my
diary.
days. Yeah. I showed Anushka my diary, and you know what? It's okay.
That's a common thing though. ADHD is either don't plan at all or are hyper planners. And so when people come in for assessments and I'm like, are you organized? Sometimes people are like, yeah, I'm really organized. I plan everything out. It's all color coordinated. And I'm like, that is a coping mechanism, my friend. Still have ADHD. It's still there.
Yeah. So I know what I want to get done in the month and in the week.
Yeah.
Because usually before, what I would do is I would know what I want to get done in a day and then plan every single hour.
Right. So you time block essentially.
Yeah. But that didn't really work for me because I would plan too much. Or if I didn't start something at a certain time it was planned, the whole day would be ruined.
Yeah.
Right? And then I wouldn't do anything. What works for me is, say I know a task, I don't know, writing client notes.
Yeah.
Would take
actually the worst.
Writing client notes would take an hour.
Yeah.
After knowing myself, I know it's going to take more than an hour because I'm going to procrastinate for the first hour or maybe 2 hours.
So I'd say step one is honesty, right?
Honesty with yourself as to how long you're actually going to take to start the task.
Correct.
Because, you just don't want to, especially if it's a boring task.
And like the thing I hear a lot from clients is like, oh, but like, I'll procrastinate and so I don't have time for rest. But it's like, if you just blocked out extra time for yourself, you wouldn't feel so bad about procrastinating because it is going to happen. Exactly. And if you block out time for rest, your body's not going to feel like you need the extra time to not do stuff, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's within the time block. So instead of putting an hour for something that I know will take an hour, I will probably put in 2 to 3 hours. But even then, I take it a step further because, my work consists of more than just writing client notes. Like so many other things like marketing or what's the continued professional development. Yeah. All that stuff. Or, there's just so many other things, editing the podcast, thinking of the podcast episodes, making calls, having meetings. So what works for me is not actually putting in that, okay, Monday, I'm going to do client notes. It's more like, okay, I have 3 hours on Monday for work.
Yeah.
So whatever fits into that work category will go in those 3 hours. So that way I'm still chugging along in all the things that I want to do. But then I have that flexibility in the routine so that if I don't do the exact same thing, I'm pretty chill. Yeah. Yeah. And so I would have blocks for maybe movement or gym. Yeah. And then something in work and then social or rest or hobbies. Something
it's kind of like
that.
Generalized,
very vague. It gives me a lot of flexibility as to what I want to do on the certain day. And if I don't do a specific thing, I'm not hard on myself.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. But I make sure that every day in my routine, or at least most of all the days in my routines, include things that are priorities to me and include regulation activities.
Yes.
So that's rest, that's movement, that's something that just helps me disassociate for a little.
Where is the lie?
Because I need it.
Yeah.
I need to disassociate for a little during the day.
Absolutely.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's how I have a routine.
That's step 2. Step 1 is honesty. Step 2 is being okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being okay with it.
Just being okay with it all.
Just everything. Yeah.
Acceptance.
Yeah. What do you do?
Okay. I'm also very neurotic. So I have like a multi-step plan. I heavily rely on 3 things. One is an Excel spreadsheet. It's called Anushka's ADHD to-do list. And in the first, it's got multiple sheets in it because I will think of things that I need to do later and sometimes add it to my list. And I wanted to stop doing that. So I have like later lists on that same sort of spreadsheet. But on the first sheet, it is literally to do. And then I have a list for done. And then I have the days of the week and I put in everything that I need to do. And I mean everything, whether if it is like seeing clients, I have to like reply to emails or whatever. I put them all down from like Monday through to Saturday or whatever. And the reason I have a done list is because I need to remind myself that I actually do utilize my time. Yeah, even because I will sometimes do stuff that wasn't on my list.
Yes.
So I'll copy and paste everything over that I have done for the week. But if I have done something else, like I've responded to a client email, I've written a report that wasn't on the list or whatever, I'll add all of that stuff. I had a meeting or something with someone that was unexpected. All of that stuff goes on my done list. So then if I feel like I've wasted time in the week, I look at that. I'm like, no, I haven't. So that's step 1. Step 2 is once it's on my ADHD list, I then take that onto my Google calendar, which I live and breathe. I wake up, I look at that thing.
If it's not on the calendar, it ain't happening.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I'm a little bit different to you. I use a structured and a flexible sort of method. So with movement is it's not specific. It'll just be like movement, go to the gym, go for a walk or whatever. But I plan 2 to 3 weeks in advance. And so I will put in all of my non-negotiables in first. So things like I used to do yoga on Tuesdays. Right. I'll put that in. I go to PT on Monday mornings. That's in my calendar. So then everything has to kind of be planned around my those things. I have a couple of anchoring points throughout my week that are like those are consistent for me essentially. Yeah. And then I include everything. I include driving. I include like if I'm going to take, like a break, if I have to like go for lunch, if I have to call somebody, everything is in my calendar, because then I'm being realistic about how much time I give to things. And obviously my calendar will have like client work as well. But then when it comes to doing other things like report writing, I will, like, if a report takes me 3 hours, I will give it 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I would rather overestimate that time.
Yes.
And then I guess the way that I've tried to battle that first thing that I talked about when we started this episode is that, like, what do you do in that empty space? Is that on my Excel spreadsheet, I have like, when you have 5 minutes, when you have 10 minutes, when you have an hour, the smaller tasks. And it's like, I can do this if like empty space comes up. But what it helps me to do is that, because otherwise I'll procrastinate, right?
Yeah.
So having things in my calendar 2 weeks in advance is that if I choose not to do it this week, whatever it is, if I'm like, I don't want to do that today because I'm so tired, cool. Yeah. I'll give myself that benefit of doubt. I'll give myself that leeway and be like, I'm not going to do it. But can you fit it into the next week?
Yes.
And if I can, great, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If I can't, then I have to be like, you know what? There's no other choice. So you have to do it right now. You have to do it. Because sometimes I need that. It's that visual cue of like, if I can't move something over, like, when else are you going to do it? Because I don't understand. Like, this is going to sound weird again. My brain thinks in consequences all the time, except for when it needs to think in consequences, which is in day-to-day living. Yes. So there's just time is now and not now, which I think we talked about it in time and nausea, but like, I can't see further into the future, so I just assume. Yes. And this acts as a preventative measure. That's kind of how I do things. Yeah. But like, I've built routines with clients on all sorts of strange and interesting ways. Like, I have clients who have like they have a daily routine for good days, medium days, hard days. Yes. Yes. And and it always has like, they will always have their core sort of things. Yeah. That maybe on their hard days they only do the core things, but on their easier days they'll do more stuff. Yes. Because I'm going to remind you guys, part of your routine are things like waking up, getting up, brushing your teeth, having a shower, getting dressed.
And that all counts.
Those are all legitimate parts of your day.
Yeah. It's daily functioning.
That's just a reminder. It is. Because like, doing laundry is still a thing. You still have to do those, like, cooking and washing dishes, like that. I include all of those things on my to-do list because they're things that I do. Otherwise, we take them for granted. Yeah. And the thing is, our executive function is going into doing tasks.
And certain things require more executive function than others.
And more energy. And
I think that's different for different people. Like, some people love cleaning. I absolutely hate it. Hate it. Yeah. Hate it with a passion. My favorite person in the world is my cleaner. It's kind of sad, but it's true.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But it's true. It just makes me feel happier.
Makes life easier.
Makes life easier. But also, I want to say, like, in the routine, if it doesn't go according to plan one day,
it's not the end of the world.
It's not, because maybe one day I just wake up and I'm just super dysregulated. I don't know why. Maybe the previous day was bad, or maybe I just woke up and just felt really bad, or I don't know. Something's going on.
And sometimes I just wake up and I'm just tired.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's an overwhelming amount of tiredness. And I've noticed this in clients as well. And I don't know whether that's just like a low dopamine day, but you just can't do stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I just throw everything out the window and I spend that whole day resting and chilling and doing nothing.
And you know what? Surprise, surprise. It means that the next day you actually have the energy to get everything done. Yeah. And you know why you can get it done? You've allowed space.
Space. Without shame.
Yes. And it can be really hard because if you're quite hyperactive, I know I am. Yeah. I sometimes get to the end of the day, like now, because I'm kind of, have a life, and not work in the evenings. Yes. I sometimes get to the end of the day and I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I have time. Yeah. Because I used to try and stay stimulated by doing work and stuff, and now I'm like, no, let's not do that because that causes burnout. Yeah. And I have to like find hobbies and stuff, but like that's okay. Yes. It's all right. It's important to rest.
Exactly.
Yeah. It feels uncomfortable though.
It feels uncomfortable, but then because like that's why my calendar isn't like fully booked up. Yeah. I leave space there for times where I can just do nothing.
I think that's important because I think for most, and at least in a neurotypical sense, for a lot of people, they go to work, they come home, they can kind of unwind and rest. Whereas for us, different parts of the day, you'll have different types of energy. Like I know from, I think sometimes between 2 to 4 o'clock, I'm just done. Yeah. And then if I do rest between that time though, like 4:30 onwards to about 10
Yeah.
o'clock, I can get a whole bunch of stuff done,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
like, that's okay. I just have to like realize that that's how I function
Yeah.
and be fine with it, you know?
Exactly. And then sometimes it's like maybe one day you just have a really good day and you just feel like being super productive that day. Some days I will stop myself and be like, no, if I keep working, I'm going to be tired tomorrow. But some days I'm like, you know what? I'll just do whatever I was supposed to do the next day right now. And then the next day I have more free time.
Correct.
To chill.
And that's where the flexibility comes
Yeah.
in. It's allowing yourself leeway to move things around and do things as you need.
Yes.
And being okay with the fact that you need that.
Yes.
You know?
I think that being okay with the fact that you need that is the hardest thing to do.
It is the hardest thing to do because we're so hard on ourselves, and then there's so much shame.
Yes.
Shame.
But also you've just been trying to do it that one way forever because you think that's how you're supposed to do it. So unlearning that is going to take a lot of time.
It does. And, you know, that also comes with a lot of frustration and anger, I think.
Yes.
Feeling frustrated with yourself, feeling angry at yourself.
Yeah.
Or like commonality in terms of thoughts or things like, I should be able to do this.
Yes.
I've done this in the past. How come I can't do it now? Like, it's that self-confidence and self-worth really takes a hit.
Yes.
And I think the more, and we're going to do an episode on self-compassion, but the more self-compassionate you are, the better you're going to feel in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is not practitioner-friendly advice. So take it with a grain of salt. If you feel like you're not doing anything and your routine kind of sucks, you know, find a friend who's worse than you and talk to them and feel better about this.
Or find friends who have ADHD and talk about it with them.
That's better.
Sayaka and I do this on the regular. We'll call and we're just like,
better.
This is what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And then we fall into this. I don't think it's false confidence. I think we're just very good at, almost too good at hyping the other person up.
Yes.
A lot of our texts are, you're not wrong.
Yes. Yes. Oh
like,
my God.
A lot of them are just like,
yes.
It's like, am I losing my mind? No. And that's all you need to hear sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, don't be too hard on yourself about your routine. Chunk things, like bring it, you know, and this is the stuff that people normally talk to you about. They like break things down, blah, blah, blah. But it genuinely, it does work.
It does.
And I think, you know, if you are struggling with routine, like Sayaka and I work on this with clients all the time.
Yeah.
So if you're needing additional support, reach out to us, book in a session if you want, and we can find what works for you. It might not be what works for us. And this is the whole point. Like, we both have ADHD, but here it is to show you the difference in terms of how we manage things. And I think that's what the work that we do with clients on a day-to-day basis is like, how do we tailor things to your routine, to your abilities, to your capacity?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than being told to do something and you're like, nah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Screw that. And then you get upset at the person telling you. That's happened to me before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So different brains, different ways of routines.
And that's okay.
Yes.
But we'll find what works for you.
Yes.
And you'll find what works for you.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have any questions, contact us.
But I hope that gives you something to think about. Like, actually just spend time to reflect on what routines work for you. Do a bit of trial and error without judgment.
No judgment. Stop
judgment. Stop the judgment.
Stop judging
and
yourself.
see where you end up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. Well, hope that helps. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
As usual, our disclaimer at the end of each episode, Girls That ADHD does not provide personalized ADHD management advice for your individual needs. Although we are mental health care practitioners, Girls That ADHD is not a substitution for therapy or counseling of any kind. Girls That ADHD exists for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon to make decisions about your mental health, well-being, and ADHD management. Advice and conversations from Girls That ADHD are general in nature and do not consider individual circumstances. Always do your research and please seek out guidance from your mental health care team or ADHD coach as required. Okay then, till next time, bye!